Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to DC Fans United. So today I am taking a look at the Immortal Men number 2. So I did a review of the Immortal Men number 1, so be sure and check that out. I'll put a link for it in the description box. So this issue, the art on this isn't by Jim Lee. He did do the cover, so he did all the art on the first issue of the Immortal Men, and he did this cover. So I like the cover. A friend of mine was saying, he was kind of roasting it, he was saying it's too boring because it just shows the characters, but I don't have a problem with that. Particularly on a cover, just showing the characters that are in the book is perfectly fine with me. And it's got some of my favorites. They don't have Ghost Fist on the front, which, it's I don't know, maybe they didn't have room for him or something, but this is Timber, this is Reload, this is Caden. He's kind of what the stories have been centering around, and then this is Stray. These three are part of the Immortal Men. So, let's see. Jim Lee did the cover. Let's see, we'll go ahead, because they put the credits at the very end. We'll show you the credits. Oh, and another thing, I like to do these reviews outside when it's a physical comic. I think the lighting is better, but at the same time, I was getting attacked by a bunch of mosquitoes, so I ended up having to come inside. It's kind of a drag to put the credits at the very end. Anyways, we'll check it out. So, let's see, Ryan Benjamin did the pencils, and James Tinian is the writer. Richard Friend is the inker. David Barron did the colors, and Carlos Mangala, sorry, I mangled his name, did the letters, so it's kind of embarrassing. Anyways, we'll just move on. So, yeah, this issue is pretty good, though. I liked it better than the first issue, and it kind of felt like a first issue in some ways because they actually introduced the characters. But, yeah, it picks up right where the first issue left off. So Caden's on the run from these pretty scary looking monsters, and they were sent by the Infinite Woman. So she's essentially the nemesis of the Immortal Man. So the Immortal Man sent these guys here to save Caden. You can see Reload there. He takes out the monsters, and then we see this is called the Siege. So it's essentially a flying fortress. This is the Infinite Woman. She has this flying fortress, and it's called the Siege. Everything in this has really kind of generic, boring names. Like her flying fortress is called the Siege. The Immortal Men hang out at the campus. Her minion here is called the Kill. Or no, this one's called the Hunt. She has another one called the Kill. Even the Immortal Men have kind of dull names. But this does actually introduce a lot of the characters. I mean, they were in the first issue, but it didn't explain much about them. So, her, for instance, she's called Timber, and this tribe that she's from, the Menominee Nation, I looked them up. They're a real tribe in America, so they were in Washington, and they still are. And this guy's named Ghost Fist. He's pretty cool. He used to battle crime in the 1920s before he got his superpowers and was chosen, and he uses ghost energy to shoot out electricity and to transport the team short distance. Well, actually it says great distances, so he's really useful. And then this is Stray. She was part of bioengineering experiments in the 1990s, and the interesting thing with her is when she looks angry, or when she is angry, it shows, and when she is feeling docile, it shows. So her emotions are reflected in her physical appearance. So that's kind of interesting. And then Reload's pretty cool too. He has this weird power where he can subtract time from an object in his direct sphere of influence, and so he can fire a single bullet over and over. There's got to be more he could do with that power other than just using the same bullet multiple times, but I'm not really sure how it works. In any case, it's kind of interesting. Sorry about the glare on the page. These new comics are so glossy. I'm I don't know, I'm kind of getting fed up with them because the old newsprint didn't do that. And these have a lot of flaws that the old comics didn't have. So anyways, she sends out some probes to spy on the situation and see what's going on. And Caden ran from everything while the fighting is going on. So he gets out, and he's on the ground level there, and he runs and goes up the platform. He catches a taxi, gets in the taxi, goes a little distance, and the guy starts talking to him, and he knows a lot about him. Turns out he's the Immortal Man, so it's kind of neat. But then, which is a little strange, the taxi gets hit by a car. Turns out the car that hit him is like a guy working for his dad, and he, lost communication with Caden. He thought he'd been kidnapped, so he just rammed the taxi and got him back. But they don't ever show what happened to the mortal man or who was driving it, so I thought that was a little strange. So the guy working for his parents calls home, tells him the situation. They think what's going on is this whole other thing related to the business his parents are in. They think that regular humans are trying to kill him. So they're deciding they need to leave the city. And the guy that works for their dad, he's like a security guard, is going to take the son home. And on the way back, then they see the monsters. And he's like, oh man, what did you get into, kid? So he tells the kid to run for it, and he's gonna try and hold him off, and that's what he does. Gets inside, and oh yeah, I thought this looked pretty cool. There's timber there. So they arrive at the house too, the Immortal Men. So he gets inside, and this is really sad. This guy here, he's just called the Kill, and that's what he did. He killed the parents. Big ad for No Justice. I'm going to do reviews for No Justice at some point. Pretty soon, actually. I just read the first issue. I thought it was great. So this is the worst part about this, is the bad guy turns the parents into those monsters, which are called bloodless for some reason, even though they look pretty bloody to me. So anyways, they are, his parents, and they're all like mindless and soulless. He says their souls move on, but he turns their bodies into these things. So they are gonna kill the kid, essentially. But Reload shows up just in time to save the day. And then we jump to the siege. See them there. And they decide they're just going to go ahead and blow up the whole house. So the siege fires a bunch of missiles at it. And Stray is like, I can't believe this. It's breaking every immortal treaty going back 6,000 years. And Reload's like, yeah, pretty sure they don't care about that kind of thing anymore. Which is a good point, They went ahead and killed all of the Immortal Men, hundreds of them. And they're the only 4 left. I don't think they care about blowing up a building. So I do think the art on this is pretty awesome, and it's kind of comparable to when Jim Lee did it on the first issue. I won't say it's better, but it's definitely good. It's up, it's quite solid. I like, the mist and stuff around Ghost Fist, and just the detail. It's pretty good. The coloring was good too. So yeah, they shoot the missiles at him. Advertisements. And this, you see the bad guy here. She tells Hunt and Kill to kill the Immortal Men. And Reload's gonna stay behind to fight. Looks pretty cool. And I guess this is the end of the issue, so they just jump off and Ghost Fist teleports them. So that's how the issue ends, kind of short and a little heavy on ads, and definitely a bit of a cliffhanger ending. But not terrible issue at all. I thought it was pretty good for $3. Yeah, I think it was probably worth it. I definitely wanted to read the next issue when I finished this. I immediately was like, well, now what's going to happen? And one of my big complaints about the first issue is the generic enemies that they had to fight, those monsters, those bloodless, those red, these monsters. I just thought they were really kind of boring because they're generic monsters. But now knowing that they were all, I'm assuming all of them are originally humans that were turned into these things. So that's kind of interesting and raises the stakes a little bit. Like, are they going to try and cure those things, or are they just going to kill them all? I don't know. So I hope this video wasn't too trash. I'll be doing more highly and heavily edited videos like I often do, like I did on Countdown yesterday. These, camera phone videos just kind of help me because it's a lot of work to make those more highly edited videos. And with physical copies, it's the only way I have to review them. So thanks for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end here. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. Please subscribe if you aren't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. And as always, thanks for watching and being a part of DC Fans United.